let us continue the same poem. The poem we had completed. We have to discuss question answers. We had discussed the literary devices also.
Yes.
Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let us have a recapitulation of the poem. As I told you yesterday that I'll show you a PPT, okay, presentation that will sum up what we have discussed. But while watching this, if you come across any query that you have, you can always tell me to stop it, right? And then I will see to your query, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Dear students, I'm back with another video, and this is an explanation of the poem The Snake Drying, taken from the Beehive book of class 9th. At the end of the explanation, I'll also be highlighting the literary devices used by the poet. Before I begin, let me just request you to subscribe our channel in case you are new to our channel, because your one subscription means a lot to us. So this is a small poem written by W.W.E. Ross. He pleads to human beings to treat snakes in a kind manner. Usually what happens when we see a snake? Obviously, we are scared and we avoid being bitten by a snake. So in this particular poem, the poet reveals that all snakes are not poisonous and all of them do not harm human beings. It's a 3-stanza poem and you're really going to enjoy it. The first stanza goes like this. The snake trying to escape the pursuing stick with sudden curvings of thin long body. How beautiful and graceful are his shapes. So you see here the poet presents the snake not as an ugly, terrifying creature to be feared, but as a beautiful animal with graceful movements. The snake is being chased by a man who's trying to kill him with a stick. The snake twists and turns his slim, long body in order to evade being attacked with the stick. These curling movements of the snake.
Sorry, I'll stop it here, Anmol, just to tell you, yesterday you remember I told you about camouflaging?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Now you see camouflaging. Now this, look at this snake. This snake is brown in color.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And it's lying in the sand. Right? So
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is camouflaging, which God has gifted to these creatures to hide them, to save them from the humans' presence. Because humans endanger them, they threaten their existence. Is that clear? As I told to you yesterday that like when we are going to the rivers and that the rocks in the midst of the rivers, they are gray. And you will find the snakes hiding under the rocks, they would be gray. So that is camouflaging, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Make his body acquire various shapes, which the poet finds very charming and elegant. The second stanza says, he glides through the water away from the stroke. Oh, let him go over the water, into the reeds to hide without hurt. Small and green, he is harmless even to children. In these lines, the poet addresses the man who is chasing the snake with an intention of killing him with a stick. The poet requests the man to let the snake escape to safety by slithering into the water of the pond so that he may go to another bank where he may hide himself among the reeds. The poet informs the man with the stick that this small and green snake is non-venomous, as he is not poisonous. He cannot cause any harm even to children. Such harmless, unprovoking snakes do not deserve to be killed. The third and the last stanza says, along the sand he lay until observed and chased away, and now he vanishes in the ripples among the green slim reeds. According to the poet, the innocent harmless snake was lying on the sandy bank of the pond till he was seen by a man. Men is so afraid of the snakes that they try to kill them even when they pose no danger. So the man saw the snake and tried to kill him with a stick. The snake until now was basking comfortably on the sands and had to flee there to escape the attack. He moved into the water body glided over it to the other side, creating ripples in the water, and then went on to hide himself among the green reeds. The snake himself, being green, could easily hide by merging with the green reeds. Now let me throw light on the literary devices used by the poet. The main literary device that the poet has used is transferred epithet. If you remember, I've already told you that a transferred epithet is an adjective that grammatically qualifies a noun other than the person or thing it is actually describing. So here in this particular poem, the transferred epithet has been used in the line to escape the pursuing stick. Here, the adjective pursuing is used with stick, but it is not intended to show that the stick is pursuing. Actually, it is suggested that a man with a stick in his hands is chasing the snake. Hence, the epithet, that is the adjective, is transferred from the person to the stick. Rhyme scheme of the poem. This poem has been written in free verse with lines unequal in length, and they have no meter. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem. But still, it's an interesting poem. The title of the poem is very interesting, The Snake Trying. It's been repeated in the opening line to reinforce the trying by the snake. It makes the reader curious, and he reads the rest of the poem to learn that the snake is a victim and is trying to save himself from someone who is chasing him in order to kill him with a stick. Thus, the title is apt as it initiates the inquisitiveness of the reader and prompts him to find out about the snake's efforts. What message does the poem give? In very simple and clear words, it conveys the message that all creatures of nature need to be treated in a kind and sympathetic manner. Even snakes must not be attacked because they do not bite unless they sense a danger to their lives. Moreover, there are certain varieties of snakes that are not poisonous and hence harmless. With this, I come to the end of the explanation of the...
Right? So you see that how you learned about camouflaging, how you learned about what are the efforts made by the snake to save himself. And that makes the title very apt, very appropriate. Anyway, the justification of the title is not a literary device. Okay, it is in general the discussion about the title. So the way the snake tries to save itself, lying in the sand, then moving into the water. So these are the efforts made by snake that is representing many other creatures. All these creatures, they make an effort to save themselves. And then what else is helping the snakes is their camouflaging. How that the green snake can easily hide himself in the midst of the reeds because they are green. A sand snake or a desert snake can easily hide himself in the sand because of the color of the sand and his own body. Right? These are examples. Fine? Okay. Now let us discuss the questions. What is the snake trying to escape from?
The snake trying to escape from the stick, the pursuing stick.
Right. The snake is trying to escape from the pursuing stick, or pursuing stick is taken from the poem. In your own words, you can say the snake is trying to escape from the human who is pursuing him with a stick. Actually, the thing is this, isn't it? Because
Yes.
Again, you see that stick is not pursuing him. This is not the stick that is chasing him. This is the human that is chasing him with a stick in his hand. Right? So you would say the snake is trying to escape from the human who is chasing the snake with a stick. Right? Is it a harmful snake?
No, it is not a harmful snake.
It is not a harmful snake. Yes.
The color of snake is green.
Right. So you would say green snakes are never harmful. Right? You would say no, the snake is not harmful because it's green. And green color, the fact is that the green snakes, they are not harmful. The poet finds the snake beautiful. Find the words he uses to convey its beauty.
Yes, the poet finds the snake beautiful. The words he uses to convey its beauty are the graceful, are its shapes,
The
and thin
graceful,
long body.
beautiful and graceful. I think it's beautiful and graceful.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, how beautiful and graceful are his shapes. So beautiful and graceful are the words that the poet has used to describe the beauty of the snake, right? Okay. What does the poet wish for the snake?
The poet wished for the snake to save it and let
Yes,
it go over the water.
right. Any other thought that you have? The poet wishes for the snake's safety, or the poet wishes the snake to be saved from the human approach. That's why he requests. अगर आपका ये 1 marker होगा ना अनमोल, तो फिर आप इतना ही आंसर देंगे that the poet wishes for the safety of the snake, or the poet wishes that the snake be saved, right? But if the question is more than 2 marks or more than 1 mark, then you would say the poet wishes that the snake should be saved from the human presence. Therefore, he requests the humans to allow the snake to go through the water to hide himself from the humans. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Where was the snake before anyone saw it and chased it away?
The snake was lying on the sand before anyone saw it and chased it.
Right,
Then,
right. How was it lying in the sand?
ma'am,
Was it lying threatened or afraid when it was in the sand? No, it wasn't, right? So you would say that the snake, before anyone saw and chased the snake away, the snake had been lying in the sand very comfortably, right? Because he had no fear. When does the fear arise? When the humans approach, right? So before anyone saw it, meaning before the humans approached, he was lying comfortably in the sand. But he gets disturbed, right, when the humans approach. And then what does he try? Where does the snake disappear?
he disappeared in the slim reeds.
Right. He disappears into the slim reeds. Why does he disappear in the slim reeds?
Because the snake color is green.
Okay. So
and the reeds color also green.
So what? What is his purpose of getting into the reeds with
To
his
hide
green color?
himself
To
from-
hide himself, right? That is to hide himself. Reeds, because of their color, as it is matching with the skin of the snake, it would give him a safe haven. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay. Apart from that, there can be some extra questions also. If you just look at the poem, these stanzas I've seen, just as for example, what is the snake trying to do? Where is the snake trying to escape from? What is pursuing stick? Is it stick pursuing? There can be question. Is it stick pursuing? Then you don't have to say no, stick is not pursuing. No, you would say no, stick is not pursuing. It's the human pursuing with the stick. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And what does sudden carvings mean? Curvings mean? Curvings are the twists and turns of the snake. Yes. What action is implied by the sudden curvings of thin long body? That is when snake crawls, right? when the snake crawls on the earth, its body forms into it, body gets into twist and turn, right? And what has been described as beautiful and graceful, that is the movement of the snake and his shape. Yes. What does he glide through? The water. Why does he glide through the water?
To vanish themselves.
To vanish himself, that is to save himself. Now again, there could be a question, why to vanish himself? So the idea is actually to save himself. Okay. Yes. Oh, let him go over the water. Who says, oh, let him go?
The poet.
The poet says, to whom?
Ma'am, to humans.
To humans. The poet says to human. Oh, let him go. What does it express?
Means to don't kill him.
It expresses the poet's concern for the snake. As he makes a request to humans to allow freedom to the snake. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Fine. Yes. Now, any doubt here?
No, ma'am.
There can be a long question. As I told you yesterday, man versus nature. And do you think that we should not kill the snake? In the picture also, you had seen that how the man had seen the snake and immediately brought a stick and started killing the snake. So why is it so that the snake had not been approaching towards the man? The snake was not going to threaten the man. But man had this pre-notion that no, this can be dangerous. So before a snake could do anything, before finding an evidence, the man had killed the snake. Right? Now here is a poem, you see. Just a minute. Yes. Now that reflects clearly the mind of the humans. However, the poem is for reading and enjoying. Would you please read this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, make a loud reading.
Early morning, the day before yesterday, under the slab of stone, in a crack, eyes glittering, forked tongue licking and flashing, a frog swelling his belly. He lay there quietly, a baby snake, 2 hands long, a green snake. Poor thing, it's a green snake, still a baby. What harm can it do? I said, my father replied, the snake's a snake, and mother, that's where everyone walks. We don't need trouble. Kill it, I can't, I said. Father struck him with a piece of firewood, chased him outside, and killed him flat.
Yes. Now look at this, what it is. The child does not want to kill the snake because the child knows that the snake is harmless. But the mother and the father, they want to kill this. Why? Because they have presumed that it could be dangerous. Father is a bit reluctant and mother coaxes the father that he should. And if he doesn't, then he is afraid that the snake can be dangerous. Early morning, the day before yesterday, under a slab of stone in a crack, eyes glittering, forked tongue licking and flashing, a frog swelling his belly. What could be seen under the slab of stone? 2 eyes glittering, forked tongue. Who is that? Not only snake, but the frog as well. You see, frogs are also green in color, and frogs you will find in marshy areas only. The frog is lying there quietly. A baby snake, 2 hands long, a green snake. A green snake also comes. Poor thing, it's a green snake, still a baby. What harm can it do? I said. The poet thought it a small snake, a baby snake, might be harmless. A green snake, it cannot harm. But father said, no, a snake is a snake. Meaning, father is not in a denial mood. He is ready to beat the snake. Right? So he said, poor thing, a snake is a snake. Father said, a snake is a snake. Now, what does this statement signify? What the father is trying to say, a snake is snake. So whether it is green or any other color, whether it is harmful or it is harmless, but the snakes are always poisonous, the snakes are always harmful, they are always threatening, so they should be killed. Is that clear? A snake's a snake. When the father says, he means to say there is no need to be sympathetic to the snake. He's a snake, he's such a creature. So let it be killed. This is the approach of the father. This is called pre-assumption, this is called pre-notion. And the mother, adding more fuel to the fire, what she said, that's where everyone walks. We don't need trouble. Kill it. The mother coaxes the father. This is the place everyone walks. We don't need trouble. We should not wait for any trouble by the snake. Kill it. The snake should be killed. The child says, I can't. Father picked up a piece of firewood and struck him and chased him outside and killed the snake. It took no time. It took no time. And you see, children, that when we have to kill the animals, we never think about it. But when an animal bites us, there is a hue and cry. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
You see that it was, I think, yesterday's newspaper or the day before yesterday, I read that a leopard had been seen on the roads in a colony of Faridabad. There is hue and cry, there is leopard. But those who are making hue and cry, they never thought why the leopard would be coming to a residential area where the leopard is not going to be spared. So many humans, they would kill the leopard. But the leopard has been compelled to move from the jungle to the city because jungle has been cleared. Forest has been cleared. Developers, they are constructing buildings there. So the leopard has no place to live. The leopard has no place to go. So wherever he finds a place, he goes. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So these are a few things to be thought over. And you must read the newspaper. You will find many things in the newspaper. When you read the literature, you realize yourself, oh yes, I read this. Oh yes, it happens. I read in that chapter. जब न्यूज स्टोरी पढ़ेंगे तो आपको लगेगा ओ ये तो मैंने अपने उस लेसन में पढ़ा, और जब आप लेसन पढ़ेंगे तो आपको लगेगा हाँ ये तो मैंने न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ा. Right? Do you read the newspaper?
No, ma'am.
But you must have this habit, because newspaper reading otherwise also helps you in enhancing your vocabulary. Right? आपकी reading skills भी enhance होती है और आपकी vocabulary बहुत अच्छी हो जाती है उससे. Every day you come across new words. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So that's all. And the next week, then we will start with If I Were You, the play.
Ma'am, when will you take the grammar portion?
After this book is over,
Okay, ma'am.
right? After this book is finished, for grammar, I have my presentations. तो वो मैं reuse करूंगी, आप लोग को दिखाऊंगी. ठीक है?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, wish you a very happy Gurpur. Now you can leave. Yes.